Well, we're talking with Lori Yost today, author of Stumbling Along, One Woman's Journey of Falling into Embarrassing and Hilarious Moments. Now, Lori, I know you're not a stranger to the Sandusky area and the Thumb region as a whole.
Yeah, we moved here in 2000 when my husband became the pastor of worship arts and youth ministry at the Countryside Free Methodist Church, and we lived here for 6 years. And so this really is home to us. This is where our kids call home because this is where they grew up, the school system they remember, and so we love Sandusky.
Well, Lori, I got to thank you for contacting us earlier this week about your new book and coming in and sitting down and talking with us.
Yeah, it's been a privilege to be able to be here back here in Sandusky and to see people that we've known for so many years, and to be able to talk about the book and to be able to share just the process of how it came about, and just to see the joy of people that are excited, just the excitement of people that are going to be reading it, and I'm just really thrilled just to be back home.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself to start.
Well, I actually have been kind of a substitute teacher, so a lot of the kids will know me from substitute teaching here in Sandusky, and I've been a stay-at-home mom for so many years, and it's been a really great opportunity for me to be able to assist my husband, and finally to be able to get so many stories that have been a part of my book.
What got you in the writing?
It was actually kind of interesting because I did a lot of women's speaking events, talking to different moms groups, talking to different women's conferences, and I would always tell some of the stories that would happen in my life, some of the very crazy, silly, funny, imperfect kind of stories, and women would always ask me after the conferences, "Do you have a book? Can I buy it? These stories are hilarious," and I always told them, "No, I don't." And so about 7-8 years ago, I decided to start writing these stories down, and to be able to make it into a book, and to be able to make it into something that the women can use, kind of as I look at it as a guide to laughter, because I think we need to laugh more. And so the stories are hilarious, but they're also at the end of each chapter, there's a digging deeper section where they can look at different scripture or different questions to kind of evaluate where they are in their life, involving the themes of the chapters.
Great. So it's kind of an inspirational and positive message there.
It is, yeah. I want to be able to give people permission to laugh, because I think in our culture we don't laugh enough, and I just want to be the catalyst to that, even if it means showing my imperfections and some of the silly things that I've done, maybe letting people know that maybe they're more normal than they think they are.
Now, you kind of answered my next question already, but was there a specific moment that you can think about that made you decide that this was something you wanted to do professionally?
Yeah, I think it was really just the people asking for the stories written down, and probably one of the biggest things is my kids and my husband would always say, do you have these things written down, because this is just incredible, the things that happen to you. And a lot of my friends would say, boy, these don't happen to many people, so you need to write these down. And because I'm so forgetful, I thought I better start writing them down so I wouldn't forget them.
Right. Now, let's talk about the actual book, Stumbling Along, One Woman's Journey of Falling into Embarrassing and Hilarious Moments. Now, is this your first book?
Yes, it is. My very first book. And I wanted it to kind of be themed with what my life is. And I'm quite clumsy, and I stumble a lot. And I find myself in a lot of embarrassing moments. And so really, that's the essence of the book.
So tell us a little bit about some of those embarrassing moments.
Yeah.
Give us an example.
Yeah. A lot of the moments happened when we were in Mexico, when we were serving as missionaries in Mexico. And one of the Bible studies that we attended, we really didn't know Spanish at the time, and we were attending a Spanish Bible study, a Spanish-speaking Bible study, and there was a new pastor that happened to come that week, and everybody after the Bible study got up from the table and left, except for myself and my husband, who was kind of doing something else. And so I was left there with the pastor, and being the relational person that I am, I decided to, just ask him some questions in the Spanish that I knew. And so I had asked him, so have you done any visiting this week of people? And I asked him that in Spanish, and he just kind of looked at me strangely, which is never a good sign, but I do get that often. And he said, I think I know what you're trying to ask me, but what you just said is, have you assassinated anyone this week? And I just shook my head, and my husband just rolled his eyes and just shook his head at the same time. And really, at the time where we were living in Mexico, to ask somebody if you've assassinated anyone this week, the answer could have been yes. And so that's really not a question you want to ask people. Fortunately, it was the pastor. So it's a lot of those kind of things, getting myself into situations that I'm saying something totally incorrect when I think I'm saying the right thing. So it comes into a very humorous play after a while.
And then can you give us kind of an idea, even with that particular situation, where the positive message, how that ties into that?
Yeah, I think in that instance, at that point, I wanted to just kind of crawl into a hole and never speak Spanish again. And because I knew that I just kept making mistake after mistake, and I knew it was never going to end because I was still learning Spanish. And I realized at that point, and many other points, as you'll read, that we are imperfect people, and that even though my Spanish wasn't perfect, that God could still use me for His kingdom, and to be able to share the positive message of Jesus Christ, and that He could use me even though I was imperfect, even though my Spanish was probably at a first or second grade level, that He called us to Mexico and He was going to use me. And I believe that He did.
And now you're using those experiences to bring smiles to people's faces.
Trying to, yes, yes.
So it seems like your book, like we've been saying, is very positive and inspirational. Have you seen firsthand the impact this book and overall message has had on people?
I have. Just it's been out since October 23rd, and I've gotten a lot of feedback just from different people through Facebook and things, just saying how much that they have loved the stories, and they have laughed, which has been my goal. But one of the things that they really like about it is the section at the end, the digging deeper, where they can choose to look into Scripture and kind of look into their own lives with those different themes, and they really like that part. One chapter has to do with my boys going away to college, and so I've had a couple people say that they've cried during that chapter. So they've laughed, they've cried, and I think overall it's been a really positive message for them, and it's kind of getting them to think a little bit more in the realm of, we're not all perfect people. We make mistakes, things happen, and you just kind of roll with the punches.
Right. So how can people find out more about yourself, your speaking, and your book?
I have a website, laurieyost.com, LaurieYost.com, and I'm also on Facebook at Laurie Yost, and it's under speaker author, and you can like me there. I'm trying to get 500 likes by Thanksgiving, and that way 500 people that have liked that page are able to be in a contest to win a free ebook.
Oh, excellent. Neat. Well, Laurie Yost, author of Stumbling Along, One Woman's Journey of Falling into Embarrassing and Hilarious Moments. Any final comments?
I just really appreciate you letting me come in. Sandusky is home to me, and I know that there's a lot of people out there, whether they know me or not, that are just thinking, you know what, life is rough, life is difficult, I don't laugh anymore, I need something to make me laugh. And I would really encourage you to buy the book and just laugh a little, sit back, and even laugh out loud.
Now, your book can be found on your website, laurieyost.com. And also lots of other online retailers as well.
That's correct. You can find it on Amazon.com. You can also find it at Barnes & Noble on the internet. The best way is if you go onto my website, then I can get it to you directly. I could sign you a copy as well if you contact me directly through the website.
Great. Now, Laurie, you will be speaking this Sunday, tomorrow, at Countryside Free Methodist Church. Is that right?
I'll be saying just a few minutes about the book, and they know me well there, so they've been gracious enough to let me come in and to do a book signing there after the service.
And that'll be right after the service, probably around noon, again tomorrow at Countryside Free Methodist Church. Well, Laurie Yost, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.